and welcome to my sister's kitchen. Today we're going to go over a 5-ingredient peanut butter bar recipe. It's fast, easy, requires no cook time, and honestly, it's one of my favorites to enjoy. So to get started, these are the 5 ingredients I'm going to be using today. 6 ounces of chocolate chip, half a stick of butter. I'm only going to use half a pound of powdered sugar, as you can see. Half a package of graham crackers, and I'm using today Skippy's Natural Creamy Peanut Butter. For the chocolate chips, I am using a semi-sweet Toll House chocolate chip. If you wanted to use dark chocolate, that's okay. If you wanted to use a different brand of chocolate chips, minis, or just chocolate chunks, that's totally fine too, because these will actually get melted down and put on top of our peanut butter bars. So with these ingredients, let's get started. So for the powdered sugar, I'm actually gonna weigh out and sift, just because I really don't want clumps of powdered sugar in my peanut butter bars, because honestly, no one wants to bite into them and end up with a mouthful of powdered sugar lumps. So I'm just using my scale on pounds. I'm happy with that number. And now we'll sift. And there's a couple different ways you can sift. You can sit there and shake it, but I've noticed sometimes when you do that, the sugar tends to go on the outside of the container. So what I like to do is just take a spoon and go back and forth inside. And as you can see, just kind of works it into this mesh. And then that way you don't have to worry about making a mess on your countertop from over dusting from moving your powdered sugar around. So while I do this boring part, you can skip to the fun part. So now I'm gonna crush up half a package of graham crackers. Regular is probably the best, because then you don't alter the flavor of the peanut butter bars. If you really wanted, you could probably get away with using chocolate graham crackers. Now, there are many different ways to crush graham crackers. You could throw it in a Ziploc bag and take a rolling pin to it. If you don't have that, you can throw it in a Ziploc bag and just sit there and crush it with your hands, either pound. Use a meat tenderizer is an easy thing to do. But since this is a quick, fast, and easy recipe, I am going to use a food processor. And now we pulse. You want to make sure that the graham crackers are as small as possible to make a good texture inside your peanut butter filling. So as you can see, these are really finely ground graham crackers, and we're going to add them to our powdered sugar. Next, let's get our butter melted and add that to this as well. So kind of as an odd tip, when you're microwaving butter, I like to put a paper towel on top. Mainly because if it goes too long and you don't hear it pop, this will save you a little extra time from cleaning the top of your microwave. See, I told you it would save me some time. There was about 4 seconds left and the butter popped, and I was able to prevent it from making a mess in my microwave. So now that we have our butter melted, we just pour that in. It helps if you use a rubber spatula. And then, of course, our peanut butter. So I'm using Skippy's All Natural Creamy Peanut Butter. You can use whatever peanut butter you want, crunchy or extra crunchy. I don't know how it would turn out with any of the other types. Usually I use Adam's Creamy Peanut Butter for peanut butter baking things, because then when you add sugar, it's not as sweet as some peanut butters, but this will work just fine for the application that we're doing today. So I'm just gonna stir this up. Let's see, get you a really nice look at that. Stir it up, make sure all the graham cracker and all the powdered sugar gets incorporated into it. When it's all mixed, I'll bring you back and show you how I'm gonna put it in the pan. Ready? And voila! It is done. I know it seems a little thick, but that's okay because it's the peanut butter filling. So this smells like fresh baked peanut butter cookies. Now, I'm putting it in an 8x8 pan. The original recipe is actually double all this, but I didn't want all those sweets in the house. Basically what we're gonna do after it's all mixed, we just go ahead and pat it into the pan and kind of level it out the best we can. And we're gonna put it in the fridge to let it chill for about 10-15 minutes. If you're in a rush to make something to take to like a party or something and you think this would be perfect, the best thing for you to do is you could pop this in the freezer for about 5 minutes, and then you can take it out and pour the melted chocolate on it. If you do it that way, and then after you pour the melted chocolate on top, you set this back in the freezer, just know that when you take it out to cut it up and it sits at room temperature, your chocolate is going to sweat. So the best thing to do is pop this in the freezer for about 5 minutes, and then go ahead and put the melted chocolate on top and put it back into the fridge. That way, when you do take it out at room temperature, the chocolate doesn't sweat, you don't end up with condensation on top of them. But if you really don't care about that, then be my guest, go ahead and throw it inside the freezer after you've added the chocolate. So now that this is set, I'm going to put this in my refrigerator for about 10-15 minutes. As you can see, it's got a nice thick base there. Put it in there for 10-15 minutes and we'll melt some chocolate and throw it on top. Now the base of our peanut butter bars are done. I am going to actually microwave these in 30-second intervals to melt them. You could also, if you wanted to make more of a ganache type setting, you could heat up about a 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream and pour it on and let it sit for 5 minutes and melt it that way. But because I'm going for more hard, crunchier texture on top of my peanut butter bars, I am actually going to microwave them. Okay, so our first 30-second cycle is done. I'm going to take the spatula from earlier, just kind of mix it up, stir it. You can see it's starting to melt. Some people like to throw in extra peanut butter into this step. I'm not going to do that. I am not fancy like that. So let's throw this back in for another 30 seconds and stir again. So it's been another 30 seconds and let's get to stirring. Let's see. They're starting to get dull in color. They're starting to heat up and melt a little more. The reason you want to stir is to prevent any from burning and to make sure that the heat is evenly dispersed through the chocolate chips so you don't melt them in one spot and then not in the other. And then we'll go ahead and throw these in for another, you guessed it, 30 seconds. So now I stir again, and as you can see, it's nice and melty. So let's add this to our peanut butter base. Our base is cooled off or chilled. Now we can just take this and pour it on top. Just scoop it out with the rubber spatula. And you can, if this is not enough chocolate for you, because you prefer more chocolate with your peanut butter, you have every right to pour and melt more chocolate to put on your peanut butter bars. There are no rules. This is just a base recipe that you can use. So now I'm just gonna spread it out. Now that that's done, we'll pop this back in the fridge until the chocolate is set, and we'll cut a piece out and see how it tastes. So, just pulled this out of the fridge. Chocolate is set. So let's cut one of these out. And you can wait till they come up to room temperature. But I am being greedy, and I would like one right meow. Oop. This is another issue. If you were to make this with the ganache topping, you'd have a little less cracking. honestly, I do not mind having cracks in my chocolate. Now that I got one cut out, let's give it a try. Sorry it took me a little longer to try this because I needed coffee to go with it. Because if you don't have coffee, what's the point in enjoying sweets? I don't care what time of day it is. Coffee is for any time. Okay, moving on. So now that they have chilled, and if you want to bring them up to room temperature so the chocolate's a little softer, it won't crack as much, but I don't care because then it makes it easier to chew on when you take a bite out of it. So I cut that big piece into a smaller one. You can see the chocolate there. I got a thick layer of peanut butter on there. If you want more chocolate on yours, you can. If you wanted to put chocolate on the bottom, I would advise putting parchment paper in the bottom of your pan instead. So let's try this out. That is really, really good. The graham crackers make it so it's not as sweet of a peanut butter, but that powdered sugar, you can't tell it's in there, but you know it's sweetened, but not by graham crackers. The texture is soft. The texture is fluffy. It's a little, after a little while, it does get a little soft. So if you're gonna eat these, maybe cut them into smaller pieces or just have people put them on a napkin or on their plate so they don't melt as fast. The chocolate does kind of melt off, as you can see, but that's okay. This is a perfect treat. It's cold. It's perfect for summertime if you want to. You could also have it in the wintertime with hot chocolate. It's kind of a good seasonal treat, but it's also good any time of the year. I just wanted something fun, and my son really loves Reese's peanut butter cups, and I told him, because he saw a commercial for them the other day, I'm like, hey, don't worry about buying any at the store. We will make some. And he's like, you can make them? I'm like, yeah, we can always make anything we see. Sometimes it's a little bit more healthier if we do so, but they turned out really good. If you do put these in the freezer to have the peanut butter and the chocolate sit up, remember they are going to have some condensation on them when they sit out at room temperature. But overall, you could do this with most peanut butters. You could do this with most chocolates as well. So as always,